Hello, East Cleveland. This is Mayor Brandon L. King. It has been several months since my last video, and a lot has transpired. The last video gave an update of our legislative branch of government, our city council, and how it has descended into sheer chaos. And how three councilors in particular, Pat Bohoviac, Juanita Gowdy, and Corinne Stevenson, has brought the legislative process to a grinding halt. The last video showed how Pat and Juanita Gowdy have attempted to overthrow Corinne Stevenson as president of City Council, and then proceeded to illegally attempt to unseat the longest serving councilor in East Cleveland, Nathaniel Martin, and then attempted to replace him with a two-time convicted felon and self-professed gang member. The video also mentioned how Pat and Juanita Gowdy attempted to hire another convicted felon to work in the city council office. To view that video and any of the other videos that we have recorded, please visit our YouTube channel at the City of East Cleveland. This video will include an update of our city's finance department. This video will also talk about a declaration made by the supposed City Council President, Juanita Gowdy, and the effects of her declaration on our city and its quality of life. On Monday, April 10th, then Finance Director Charles Ilyahin submitted his letter of resignation to me. And Friday, April 12th, was Charles' last day. Fortunately, Charles was grooming Latasha Williams for a leadership position in our finance department. Latasha, who now runs the finance department, has an extensive resume in the field of accounting. A resume that includes a bachelor's degree from Cleveland State University and a master's degree in accounting from Ashford University. Latasha has years of work experience in accounting. She has experience as a financial analyst and experience as an accounting clerk. We were lucky to have found Latasha through the Robert Half Executive Staffing Service, a service which we have utilized in other areas of the executive and judicial branches of our government. The disgustingly despicable purveyor of propaganda, Eric Brewer, in his customary fashion, defamed her in an email that he sent to over 100 residents and officials around the greater Cleveland area. We are all aware of the difficulties employers across Northeast Ohio and across the country are having with finding employees in the traditional sense of employment. And, like other employers, we engage a service to help find and vet potential candidates to fill our vacant positions that have gone unfilled for months. As I stated earlier, Latasha has a master's degree in accounting, while Eric Brewer, and Justin Anderson for that matter, may have either a high school diploma or maybe a GED. Neither of the two has a resume that includes working in accounting or finance fields. And neither Eric Brewer nor Justin Anderson are in any place to professionally or to academically criticize someone who has been formally trained and has properly managed finances, no matter how or what vehicle was used to secure them as a permanent member of our team. At the regularly scheduled council meeting on May 16th, Juanita Gowdy said that no city business will move forward without Eric Brewer and Justin Anderson receiving a salary, even if they were illegally hired. As a result of Juanita Gowdy's declaration and with the support of Pat Bahoviak, the city's progress has been brought to a complete halt. What does a complete halt mean to the city's progress? What does that mean in tangible terms? The city has lost over $500,000 in grant funding from the Ohio Public Works Commission, funding that would have been used to resurface Shaw Avenue this year. The city is also at risk of losing $12 million in funding that would be used to completely repair the infrastructure and to resurface Hayden Avenue from Superior to Woodworth. This $12 million in grant funding includes $4 million from Cleveland Water for water main replacement. It also includes $2.5 million from the Ohio Public Works Commission and another $3.5 million from NOACA, this money to resurface Hayden Avenue from end to end. This $12 million project in grant funding also includes $1 million in sewer repair from the Ohio EPA and another $1 million in the form of a forgivable loan from the state of Ohio to the city of East Cleveland. This $12 million project, infrastructure, and the resurfacing of Hayden Avenue comes at no cost to the city of East Cleveland. So what does a complete halt of the city's progress mean in tangible terms? We are also at the risk of losing $3.5 million in infrastructure grant funding. This funding would be used to replace water, sewer, and storm lines on Woodlawn Avenue. Please remember, Woodlawn Avenue is going to be the first street developed in our more than $120 million new neighborhood. Now this project, the new neighborhood, is months behind schedule because City Council has refused to award the engineering contract, a contract that is required for the designing of the water and sewer infrastructure work. What does a complete halt to the city's progress mean? What does it mean in tangible terms? It means that the city will have to return $3.5 million of community development block grant funding back to the federal government. If the proposed legislation is not passed, this legislation needs to be passed and submitted to HUD by August 16th of this year. Passing this legislation will allow the city to resurface more city streets, maybe even your street. Councilors Juanita Gowdy and Pat Blahoviak have irresponsibly put the interests of Eric Brewer and Justin Anderson before the interests of the residents of the city of East Cleveland. There has not been a single action directed by Eric Brewer that has moved this city in a positive direction. Eric Brewer has allegedly been using city resources to advance his personal online tabloid magazine. Juanita Gowdy and Pat have also allowed Eric Brewer to use, in fact, to waste city resources and funds to hire a lawyer. This lawyer has filed frivolous lawsuits, all of which have either been thrown out or lost in the court of law. These frivolous lawsuits have been filed against this administration, my family, and myself in an effort to defame me and to enrich himself and Justin Anderson, while at the same time directing Juanita Gowdy and Pat to stop the legislative process and bring the city of East Cleveland to a grinding halt. Amazingly, Juanita Gowdy and Pat Blahoviak, who are residents of this city, will allow a non-resident like Eric Brewer to influence them and ultimately deny themselves the benefits of the legislation we submitted, legislation that would improve their own quality of life. Amazing. No matter how much an elected official may dislike another elected official, an elected official should never deprive the people of East Cleveland resources by simply refusing to pass legislation. The legislation that my administration has proposed does not benefit me personally. It benefits the residents and the community as a whole. This declaration of bringing the city to a halt is destructive. This behavior, perpetuated by Eric Brewer, Juanita Gowdy, and Pat Mahoviak, has not gone unnoticed by our external partners. Our external partners stand in utter disbelief at how the legislative branch of our city government is squandering the opportunities for revitalization and squandering the resources that they have invested. As taxpayers and residents of the city of East Cleveland, you have every right to demand better from your elected officials. The city's future is in your hands. Thank you. God bless, and God bless East Cleveland.